Welcome to the presentation on the site selection for El Dorado and Saddle Ranch communities. I will be walking you through the claims and the counterclaims to the pairing of Saddle Ranch Elementary to El Dorado Elementary. This is a data-driven approach using the master plan given by the Douglas County School District and also comparison to those of us who live in the community and public record. Today we'll be discussing the background, the primary objections, student safety and community, undue emphasis on site expansion, false claims on site expansion, traffic and safety, special programs, accessibility to local resources, and contributors to this document. In this, you will be able to see our reasoning that Saddle Ranch is better suited for the pairing into instead of out of. We understand that the Douglas County School District is under duress in this situation to be able to make this consolidation recommendation. We understand that it is not emotion, but it is data-driven. In these times, we find that we must make sound and data-driven decisions that we can rely upon to remove our emotions and behavioral biases. There are 5 primary objections based on the Douglas County School District's criteria that was submitted by the Douglas County community and then voted into action by the Board of Education. Violation of the community criteria, emphasis on site expansion, traffic and congestion concerns, impact on our high-performing and SSN students, severe supported needs students, misrepresentation of expansion ability. First, we go to the preservation of students and staff and community. It was one of the top reasonings for the superintendent and her team to maintain community, and it is the biggest impact on our community now that our school is being impacted. Given in the position that Saddle Ranch is in conjunction with other schools, we are now fractured as a community, as those who are making the decision have chosen to open enroll into Stone Mountain, meaning our southernmost families are heading into a different school, while our northernmost families are heading into El Dorado. This means that statistically, our neighborhood is not going to survive. We will not have families that are moving into our neighborhood based on school, and our community will be split between 2 different schools. There was an oversight in not freezing open enrollment. And one of the main claims that the Douglas County School District and the superintendent and her team have made is that there will be a school desert. This is not a criteria point that they had voted on. This is something that they have given to our attention later. Trailblazer is north next to Westridge Rec Center. There is a neighborhood north of Highlands Ranch Parkway and west of Kendrick Castillo Road that is El Dorado's jurisdiction. That means that a rebounding could have happened to get those students close to their neighborhood school, and we would have been able to accommodate for the El Dorado neighborhood. It was never a claim that a school desert was reasoning to shut down our school. Furthermore, they have Ben Franklin School that is next to that neighborhood, and also STEM school that is over there. The school desert claim is silly based on the fact that this is next to also businesses as well. The recommendation is more likely to fracture the Saddle Ranch community than to fracture the El Dorado community. We had maintained from our discussions with the Douglas County School District that we would maintain a welcoming community, as we always are at Saddle Ranch. There is an undue emphasis on site expansion. We are both compatible schools to be consolidated into, and given that Saddle Ranch in every other category outweighs El Dorado, this was an oversight on their part, that they had placed weight on this nuanced view of enrollment growth combined with false statements about Saddle Ranch site ownership outlined in the next slide. There are false claims on site expansion. Our site is actually bigger than El Dorado's. This was based on public record There is an assumption that the Highlands Ranch Metro District owns the field next to Saddle Ranch. Based on public record, we were able to find that this is not true. Saddle Ranch owns that site. This is also a place where our kids play before and after school, where we host the district's largest Land Sharks running club, and it is also where we host community movie nights. Our community uses this site, uses all of it for every activity that we do, and it is bigger than El Dorado's. We are able to expand in this way into that without losing much space for our kids to use that field. If you're looking over here, this is what Saddle Ranch's site looks like in comparison to El Dorado's site. Traffic and safety. This was another point for the district to put emphasis on walkability. Both of these are exactly the same for walkability. They are a mile apart. However, the difference in walkability from our Saddle Ranch kids walking over to El Dorado is completely different. It is a 20-minute walk. In some cases, from our furthest students in our neighborhood, it is 1.4 miles to walk to El Dorado, in comparison to a 1.2 from the furthest reaches if it is rebounded in El Dorado. Given that we had asked that we would not cross major walkways, the El Dorado students in the north neighborhood that I mentioned earlier, they already have to cross Highlands Ranch Parkway. So walkability is difficult for them. Saddle Ranch has better traffic management. We have 4 entry points into our neighborhood, most of the time only taking 1 to 2 turns. There is a maximum of 0.77 miles to get from Broadway with a light to Saddle Ranch Elementary. This is just taking 1 right turn. This is not a difficult path to take. It is easy to get in and out of. And so there are 4 entry points. El Dorado has 1 entry point that is easily accessed to it, and it is 0.18 miles to the entry of Kendrick Castillo Road, meaning that traffic would get backed up. In our research of this, there are cars that line the street at El Dorado for pickup of their students, whereas we have more parking spots in our parking lot, 92 to their 91, and there is ample street access. In conjunction with combining our walking students, the decision is clear that Saddle Ranch is a better walkable school. Speaking again on traffic, our parking lot and our lot are cleared out by 3:45 every day with the capacity that we have right now, and they clear up for drop off at 8:45. There is not lining up at 2:45 in order to be able to get a spot for a car pickup because of our 2 locations that go in and out of the school and our walkability to our neighborhood. Speaking about walkability, our students in Saddle Ranch neighborhoods would have to walk across the Mary Gulch Trail, go up and then cross several streets to get to El Dorado. In comparison to the El Dorado students, when they get to crossing in their neighborhood, if they get to their Mary Gulch Trail, there is a straight shot over to the area. So you can see this as well. Now speaking about over here for our high performing and our severe supported needs. We have an existing programs. We both have in Saddle Ranch and El Dorado have existing programs for SSN students. However, when discussing with our community about those who use our program versus theirs, we have families who have had their SSM program shut down at Coyote Creek and then shut down at Stone Mountain, only to be left with Saddle Ranch and El Dorado. El Dorado has a great staff, just as we do as well. However, they have placed their SSN students in a place that doesn't have windows, whereas we have an extra classroom that can accommodate with windows for accountability of staff and student. There is ease for drop-off, since most of our SSN students need to have a hand-to-hand drop-off from parent to staff. There is ease in getting in and out during drop-off, given our extra parking space and our ample street parking, making it easier for our most precious students. Also, the safety for the playground is also a concern because the El Dorado playground is closer to the street, whereas our Saddle Ranch playground is further off for those who wander. We are more centrally located within Highlands Ranch for those students and those families to be able to get to a program of SSM that is here. Accessibility and local resources. This is a moot point. There were claims in the document that were made that El Dorado was closer to the sheriff's department, and that they were closer to a fire station. This is true, but we're talking minutes. We have fire station Metro 20 is 4 minutes away to Saddle Ranch. And again, with our ease of getting into the neighborhood, we are easily accessed as well. The police station is only 7 minutes away, giving them access to us as close. These are negligible. SRE site excludes the Ty McDowell Park. This is the baseball field. However, we have that large piece of land, as we discussed earlier, whereas the 10 acres for Saddle Ranch do not. While the 10 acres allotted to El Dorado include their ballpark. So there is a piece of their land that is not grass, but a ballpark, whereas our 10 acres of Saddle Ranch do not include the park, allowing for expansion into the field if needed, as well as preserving the field and ballpark. In the document, the superintendent claimed that a perk of choosing El Dorado was based on the fact that it was close to Foothills Park, whereas this is completely false. We can see Foothills Park from our school on top of the hill. It is 0.2 miles away. This means that many a time we have lots of activities that happen at Foothills Park because it is walkable. Not walkable through a neighborhood to cross any streets, but walkable through a trail, park, path. There is broad open space as well. I would encourage anyone to go and walk about El Dorado building versus Saddle Ranch building and just notice the difference between the space that surrounds both buildings. El Dorado is packed very neatly into the neighborhood, whereas the site for expansion for Saddle Ranch is obvious. There is more space. The complexity of this decision cannot be easily discussed in this medium. There are 18 criteria points that we can contradict very easily with public record, and also just a little bit of extra elbow work to go and look at these places during this time. Consequently, a full list of the superintendent recommendations and the community response can be found at this link. The DCSD board is elected from us, the parents, to be our voice in the school district. That's why we encourage you on April 8th to go down to the district building in Castle Rock by 5 o'clock. There will be a meeting to discuss this where the Superintendent Kane will be making her recommendation to this. This is not a done deal yet. She will make her recommendation to this based on the information that she has and her team have gone through. And we have also given our board directors these counterclaims as well. We ask you to impress upon the superintendent to consolidate El Dorado into Saddle Ranch. maintaining that we are a welcomed community, that there will be a seamless merge of two neighborhoods into one. Um, we also encourage you to reach out to the school board and email them your concerns about this, and to voice that we should save Saddle Ranch. Upon hard factual data, we know that this is not an emotional decision. We know that there is a lot of emotion tied to our school, and but we do feel that we are a better choice to be consolidated into instead of out of. So please, I beg you, reach out to your school board, reach out to Superintendent Kane, um, and come to the meeting on April 7th, 8th, April 8th, 5 o'clock in Castle Rock at the district school building, and also to the meeting on April 22nd at 5 o'clock at the board meeting, where this will be voted into.